Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishbata.
Pagher Agile, Ni Hao, Tune Shumme, Washmale, Ohio, Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifa Hal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bali Karyaya, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning, alongside the very fantastic, amazing, superb, and the very ecstatic. Ladies and gentlemen, she happens to be the wonderful lady, Shiza Hashmi, and I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
Like you said, wonderfully well. Thank you so much for asking, and I know you're doing great too. But I did miss you yesterday. I feel like whenever you're not here, there's a certain energy that is missing.
Thank you.
Because I think we both agree on this. We do have a great chemistry, but we come from different places, right?
True.
So all together, we do make I want to say a good team.
It's a good combo.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's what it is.
But now it's complete. So where were you yesterday?
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so just yesterday we, obviously so there was a family wedding going on. For that, where we actually had to travel outside the city, which is why I wasn't able to make it. But just off the record, ladies and gentlemen, she said that yesterday's show was fantastic, and I am obviously going to stick with it as well. But other than that, just last night, Shiza, I had a wonderful show on PTV Sports where the title of the show was E-Game on Hai. So imagine that, that the Kamyab Jawan program, under the auspices of Prime Minister and obviously Mr. Osman Dar, who happens to be the senior advisor for the Prime Minister and the special advisor Prime Minister on Youth Affairs as well. And he was there. The owner for Lahore Qalandars, Mr. Atif Rana, was there. And, the 10 cents guy, Mr. Khabar Naeem, was there. So what they've done is that on the 6th of December 2021, they launched the Kamyab Jawan program where it was a sports drive. And, we saw a massive event taking place in sports complex as well. But other than that, just yesterday, so Kamyab Jawan program, Lahore Qalandars and 10 cents have actually collaborated together. And what they're going to do is that they will make sure that they're going to give all of these amazing youngsters out there who are good on gaming, and that to internet gaming as well. That's what we're talking about, because the internet enriches everyone's life.
Absolutely.
All we need to do is channel their energy. So what they will do is that they will do a talent hunt drive. They will go from Kashmir to Landi Kotal all over Pakistan, make sure to get more guys and girls who can actually play wonderfully well, maybe Tekken, maybe FIFA, maybe PUBG Mobile. And then they will make sure to have regional competitions and national competitions. And just because all of these games have been including in Asian Games and then the Commonwealth Games as well, so they've promised us that Pakistan will get its first ever gold medal in the esports arena.
How amazing is that, mashallah? I absolutely love where we're headed as a nation under the auspices of course, Imran Khan Saab. But Shahzad, congratulations to you on being a part of this.
And what about you? What were you doing yesterday?
I'll let you know, of course. But I'm so excited to learn this.
Thank you.
Yes, moving on. I was a part of something, I want to say phenomenal yesterday, because just being there made me so proud, to be honest. And it's so funny. I was telling my parents how proud I was, and for the first time ever, they were like, "Ha, ye achhi cheez tumne ki hai." So I was a part of an event
First time ever? That's different.
More or less. But I was a part of an event where a sort of an informal declaration was signed between many different organizations, being STEP, which actually only works for people living with disabilities, right? And then there was the National Committee on the Status of Women, and then there was UNFPA. So the three of them got together to actually write out a sort of a declaration with all the rights that especially women with disabilities need over here, because of course Women's Week is being celebrated, of course, and they were like, while we need to empower and celebrate women, we especially need to talk about and think about women with disabilities, because that is vulnerability even on a lower segment. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. First of all, you're a minority, that is a woman. We have to say minority. And then you are specially abled or differently abled. Cannot imagine the life or the challenges one might have. So I think it was really interesting. They all got together, noted down some points, and then there was an open discussion. Everyone pitched in. And eventually, inshallah, we're going to see a new legislation on this as well, fingers crossed. I love where we're headed in terms of development, in terms of becoming a welfare state.
Exactly, and we are, alhamdulillah, on way as well, which is why, where I was talking about Kamyab Jawan program. Imagine that now we actually have a Kamyab Khatoon program as well.
Super.
And our president, Mr. Arif Alvi, talking on this occasion, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely want to share the visuals with you as well. Imagine, so the President, Dr. Arif Alvi, has formally launched Kamyab Khatoon program under the umbrella of Kamyab Jawan program, to ensure financial empowerment of women, without which a country cannot prosper. Addressing the launching ceremony in Islamabad, he stressed the need for provision of honorable work opportunities to women.
Well, he said now women can open their accounts through digital mode by downloading the requisite app without visiting any bank. He said women can brand their products internationally through the use of information technology. And he also said Islam has granted inheritance right to women and the government has enacted laws in this regard.
Wow.
Well, of course, I mean, we are the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, so we do have a lot of leverage in that. Women have a lot of rights over here. A lot of laws already exist, but in terms of implementation, we need to educate ourselves because laws exist. And this is what I need everyone out there to know. I mean, research, do your own research. A lot of legislations have been made. How to go about it is your job, or how to go about it, I mean, you have to engage the right people on that. But moving on, you shared a very interesting news with me in the morning.
Exactly.
And, yeah,
and we are about to do that because, ladies and gentlemen, from now on, from today onwards, I think that the very perception about this very illness is going to change, and God forbid people learn to live with it, because unfortunately there was no cure for this disease. So imagine finally HIV is curable, ladies and gentlemen. We live in such a day and time that alhamdulillah now with the use of technology we are able to cure HIV.
Wow.
So the first ever woman has been cured of HIV using stem cell treatment. 2 men had previously been cured of HIV. Researchers believe that it presents another step in the development of cure for the disease.
You know, this US patient with leukemia has now become the first woman, as we know, after receiving a stem cell transplant from a donor who was naturally resistant to the virus that causes AIDS. Researchers reported on Tuesday. I have so many questions, but yes, carry on.
The case of middle-aged women of mixed race presented at the conference on retroviruses and opportunistic infectious in Denver is also the first involving umbilical cord blood, a newer approach that make the treatment available to more people. And this is something which has happened 2 years ago as well, where the umbilical cords of the babies are being preserved, that God forbid if in near future, you know, they have any problem or later on they have any problem, they can actually draw the stem cells and then inject them into the babies or the people out there as well. But, you know, obviously it's your umbilical cord, so only you can get treated with that as well, and a lot of people are doing that already.
Very interesting. And I love where science is headed, right?
Yeah.
And, well, I know this is not the show about it, but I really want to say, eventually in with time, Shazad, don't you feel like science comes up with sort of testifying what Islam had told us hundreds of years ago, and I absolutely love it. I mean, imagine, doesn't it make you realize that Allah is absolute divine? I mean, His knowledge is just absolute, and we're so lucky to be having that kind of I don't know, knowledge to ourselves as well.
Exactly, alhamdulillah. And it's all about research, Shiza. And, you know, it's because of the fact that imagine that even I've heard this, you know, that a lot of people have said that whatever diseases, you know, exist over here in this world, there are treatments for that disease as well. And our religion tells us that.
Absolutely. But Shazad, you know, science is not always on point, I'll tell you that. Because while this is a great news, people with HIV actually have something to look forward to now. Inshallah, I hope the menace is wiped off the face of planet as well. But not always science will take you in a positive direction, because 2 months back, you and I were discussing, we saw a story where the first ever animal to human heart transplant was made. And it was successful in a way because, well, the heart kept beating after the transplant and the guy survived. So the heart was taken from a pig and transplanted into a human man's body. And yesterday the news came out, unfortunately, after 2 months of the transplant, the man could not make it. He just couldn't survive. He could not, I don't know, there was something wrong with the functioning, of course, the tissue cells, whatever was not matching, and it was a biological catastrophe. So, well, may his soul rest in peace, of course, but there are some limitations to science as well, right?
Obviously, and you know, the science does fail at times when we do not do enough ample research, and you know, obviously when we go to attempt such a case, obviously we need to give them that leverage that obviously they were trying and they tried hard as well.
Of course.
But unfortunately, may the soul rest in peace as well. But now coming down to where you said where science is headed, I wanted to talk about where fashion is headed as well.
Oh, okay.
You know, because,
I like
you know, just around the week, ladies and gentlemen, there was this fashion week which took place as well. A lot of people did participate in it as well, in this fashion exhibition. A major fashion exhibition gala is underway in Lahore, where more than 50 fashion clothes designers are showcasing their wares. Organized by La Soeur Events, the exhibition showcased hundreds of designer clothes and fashion accessories, among other things. The event organizers, Bunty, Uzma and Sabah, spoke to PTV World about the exhibition and its significance. Wow.
I think we have, Yeah, I thought we had clips from Bunty, Uzma and Sabah saying something to us, but maybe we didn't play them. It's totally all right.
Yep.
I don't know why I wasn't there. I absolutely love being
Because
there
it was in
wherever there's
Lahore.
fashion. I know,
And
that's
you were
what I'm saying.
working.
Well, truth bombs early in the morning. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you were watching our show throughout the week, we kept telling you that this is Women's Week. We are celebrating some amazing women over here in the studios. May they be Pakistani women and even international ones for that matter. And today we're going to do the same in the first segment.
Exactly.
So, without any further ado, let's begin.
So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a social political analyst and lobbyist as well. She happens to be Miss Samra A. Kaka Khail. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Walaikum Assalam. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me in your program. It's always pleasure seeing you guys enthusiastic.
Thank you very much for
Thank
joining us.
you.
It's wonderful to be,
And we love your
kind of
energy.
be in conversation with you on such an important topic. So let's get started with that. So this year around, this is one thing which I've realized, and that is that, okay, when we talk about Women's Day, women empowerment, it's utmost, it's important, it's pivotal, it's imperative. And there's no second question to that. But what I have seen is that I have slowly seen marketing brands creeping into the drive for women empowerment. So wherever may probably go, I see more branding rather than more awareness, rather than more empowerment. So how do you think that we kind of look into it carefully, that we kind of make sure that whatever the message we want to bring across, that's what is going to come across as well?
Well, if you know that...
I'm sorry that it is an out of syllabi question as well, but I wanted to ask this.
It's very interesting, yes.
Well, the women, if you see, first I would like to start from the women empowerment, like women empowerment, actually the female empowerment, like equal to the men, where like it include that a woman should participate in every field of life, whether it is political, social, cultural, or civil life. And if you see, if it's on the regional level, national level, or international level, if they chip in into these fields, so they can go ahead in order to eliminate the discrimination on the ground of gender equality and sex. So coming to your question, that everywhere if you see, you can see that the women empowerment is very highlighted, whether it's in the in the socio-political field, or in the other
in every walk of life.
Yeah. So for that we need that women should. The main thing is that education play a key role in women empowerment. If women will be educated, so they can go ahead and they can play in the ground, whether like in any field. Secondly, if you see many people, they do not understand, especially in the men, they feel that, okay, we are more dominant as compared to the men.
Yeah.
So this thing should be eliminated from the society.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you're right, Samra. Education, like you said, is definitely the key forward. But whenever Women's Day comes around, there's a lot of stuff on media going on, sometimes for just the clout, sometimes for the ratings, and sometimes it's legit to raise awareness.
True.
So lately I was watching a lot of shows and a lot of opinions on Women's Day and marches and protests. And one very common question everyone wanted to ask was, do you think the rights that they're talking about, do you think women of Pakistan don't have rights? Or what do you think they're marching about? What do you think they're protesting about? So I think I'm going to throw the same question to you. Whenever Women's Day comes around, especially for the past 5 years, it's a newer picture in Pakistan.
True.
What do you think, where are the Pakistani women lacking? Or are they? It can be a yes or no question.
Let me explain. If you go in the history and in the past, as far I remember, in February 1983,
Okay.
100 of women they marched in front of the Lahore High Court, and they protested against the Ziaul Haq.
Yes.
And if you see, because he has passed a very regressive and very discriminative law against the women, that according to the legislation, they said that they will be not provided equal right as compared to the men. So we know that, okay, every year on 8th March annually, this day is being celebrated. They actually want to commemorate this day. If you see, they want to celebrate with those people who achieve in the political field and cultural and economical. So they contributing with each other, and they want to have a rally to represent the women and on the equality basis.
True.
And
I think
yes,
that's wonderful. But then, just while talking about it, it was great that kind of you reminded us about how this entire revolution did work as well, and it's great. But this is a question which it might be very generic, and not everybody might be doing this as well. But this is something I wanted to talk about because it's a very interesting point. So imagine, when we talk about men, I've seen men helping each other, making sure that they add on to their capacity, capability, and wherever they can help, any other person, they will always try to do that. With women, I believe it's different. I think what women really need to do is join hands in harmony and be so synchronized that they start to empower each other as well. I mean, I know that it is important for every individual of the society to help each other, to empower, maybe building up their capacity. But how do you think that we can define the role of women in making sure that they are empowering other women as well, not just themselves? Because it does not need to be individualistic act. I think rather it needs to be a community act as well, where everybody comes together, make sure that they give them that space and make them more capable and empower them. How can we do that? How do we define that?
Well, if you see if the woman will be educated, so then she can promote, the other women, and she can understand and,
or do you think that, it is very important for her in the first place to be empowered and then make sure that she shared all of that empowerment with other people as well?
Of course, like if she will be educated, so then she will be able to give the push to, girl or women in the society, and because a woman can understand the pain of other women.
True.
If suppose she stand in the shoe of other women who is deprived from their basic right, whether it's education or anything, and she want to stand on her feet, and she want that she should have the same right as she is, because there's a difference between the educated women and the illiterate women. So then on that way they can hold hand in hand and can give space to the other woman to stand for themselves and raise voice for her rights. So a woman should strengthen the other women. If she will be educated, then she will be able to go for it.
Wonderful. So how do you do that? So for example, if I am to ask you, how do you make sure that, with your friends, family, how do you make sure that you go up to your mom and be like, Ammi, whatever you want to do, I think I'll be with you, and let's go, let's do it. Sister, come on, let's do it. You're able to do that. So how do you do that within your own family? Let's start from here, because we want you to share an example for people to learn. Please go ahead.
Well, it depends upon. Yeah, sometimes depend, but till as far I remember, she usually listened to me where I am right. So I'm just giving an example of, if the woman will be empowered, so then she will be able to enhance, the education of their, generation and daughter, and they will be able to stand for themselves, to make their better choices for their life, and to go ahead in the decision-making process.
Wow,
absolutely. Wonderful. And now I know this is sort of a primary question, and we should have sort of begun with this, but the discussion has gone a lot about how a woman needs to be empowered and how that can happen through education and whatever we spoke about. They were all valid points. But Samra, it makes me question your understanding of empowered women. What does that mean? Because a lot of private TV shows actually have talk shows now where someone would say, oh, I believe in women empowerment, and the other person would say, no, I do not believe in short clothes. I mean, women empowerment is not short clothes, right? So what does empowerment mean to you?
Well, empowerment for me is to educate yourself to know about the basic right with the Islamic perspective and the otherwise as well.
True.
And and that you can see that how you can educate yourself and how you will be going to educate the other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's all through awareness, and you have to through education, awareness, and through proper trainings.
Brilliant. Now, you happen to be a human rights activist, and I heard you saying something, and it was so nice. You said that women's right is obviously human's right.
Exactly.
So if I were to ask you particularly, what are some of the basic human rights that women must be deprived of in this region, what do you think they are? And it doesn't have to be 100% of the women. It can be some women, right?
There are many. If I tell you the reason behind this, the women empowerment. So there are certain reason, we can focus on it. Like we should eliminate, the discrimination in the workplace.
Absolutely, yes.
And just I was going through one report, UN report, where it has been mentioned that around 28 women each, minute, and all across the globe are like harassed, and they are getting pushing for the marriages without their willing. And beside that, like if you see 1 out of 3 are like same thing, the victim of the violence. And there are many other things that the women are, as compared to the men, very less in the leadership position.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
and thank you very much for saying that, because this is something which is I think we really need to kind of talk about more and
Yes,
more.
let's.
So let's talk about all of those issues which you think exist in the community. So I have a couple, and
Go
then
on.
you say a few as
All
well.
right.
So
And then you can
imagine,
add as well.
early marriages, number one. I don't think that this
Childhood
should be
marriages.
happening. And every girl should have the right to choose, and that's the and our religion actually gives us the permission to do so. Number one.
Absolutely.
So number two, I think that they're deprived of education, and there are different segments within our society where they do not send their daughters to schools. A lot of parents do. Don't take me wrong. It might be a very generic statement, but it exists over here in Pakistan, and we
does.
need to talk about that. Number three, we take them as labor, and it is unaccounted for as well. Because our economy depends on agriculture, a part of it at least. So imagine that there are women who works within the fields as well, and there's no salary for them, there's no benefits to them, there's nothing to them, and all of that work goes unaccounted for as well. Number four, the wages obviously does not qualify for women as they qualify for men as well. I think that's where we really need to kind of talk about it. These 4 or 5 issues I think are the most important as well. What do you have in mind? You tell.
I agree with all of the ones you said, of course, and sort of expanding onto them as well. Where you said women labor, ladies and gentlemen, in normal terms, I feel like we're all a witness of that.
True.
In our households, Shazad. So if you have a daughter, if you have a sister, or you have a mom, you just by default think that the house chores are supposed to be done by them.
True.
A lot of times I've seen a girl or a daughter coming from university after attending so many classes, probably by 6 p.m. at house, and when she returns, there will be chores waiting for her. I mean, bartan dho do or something like that, and the guy must be sitting ke pani la do, khana la do, something. I mean, it can be your own culture. I'm no one to question your culture. I'm just here to sort of probably speak for the women who don't have a voice. If I'm coming back home at 6 p.m. Shazad after working all day and working so hard, I would probably want at least 20 minutes of rest.
Or at
I
least
would want someone to give me a glass of water,
I was
right?
about
I
to
mean,
say that.
it's so.
And you chai peeing up, something like that.
Absolutely. And just yesterday, where I told you I was at this event, some strong, powerful women, amazing women. I was so inspired by them. And as soon as the event ended in the evening, everyone wanted to rush home because either bachche aage honge, either husband aa gaya hoga, he doesn't eat until and unless I don't present food to him, or oh, I have to go cook food because they like fresh food. And I was so inspired. My heart goes out to all those women that actually were there to make a change.
True.
But the change just vanishes as soon as they go back home. It's just the culture. It's I don't know. What do you want to add over here?
I've also seen, same thing, and I think the men should not fully dependent on the women. They should
Yeah, they're
contribute in
humans,
their
they're full
work, whether
humans.
it's inside in the household or out of in the workplace. And secondly, when it comes to the women, so we should listen to the women. I've seen women are mostly globally, and it's nationally, not here only in Pakistan.
Yeah,
out
of
of
course.
country as well. The women voice are not heard. When it's come to the decision making, so they are not giving. The proper space to the women to heard and in order to go for to accept their decision making.
Exactly.
But Samra, you're absolutely right. But why do you think, what might be some of the factors that in leadership positions or decision making or law making positions, women hardly exist? I mean, now people are advocating for it. Now there are quotas being made for it. But generally speaking, I mean, earlier this was not possible. Why though?
I know it's not only here; it's all
Everywhere,
across
of
the
course.
world. And I'm thinking that this matters will be, taking more than 100 years to bridge the gap of the gender
100?
equality.
Oh, God.
Yes, seems like, because it's not here. Even I remember, even in America, the same thing is happening. And mostly the white Americans, they are discriminating. The black Americans background people.
True.
Of
They're
course.
not giving. The
African Americans.
equal gender.
Exactly, that's
Yes,
wonderful. Thank you very much, Samra, for being with us. It was lovely to be in conversation with you. And please continue to work for all of those other women who are out there, because they definitely want to take inspiration from you. And for whatever you have achieved in such little time, we want to wish you best of luck. And please make sure that you continue to strive for excellence, and that you continue to bring about a positive change in the lives of millions of women who are out there as well. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And lovely to be in conversation. For everybody out there, ladies and gentlemen, all of these things which we discussed finally will come down to how well aware you are of your rights. And I think it's every individual's responsibility to be more aware of what their rights are, what their fundamental rights are, what their constitutional rights are, because only then you can practice them. Because if you do not know what your rights are, how can you practice them? True?
Absolutely, 100% agreed. So, of course, sort of, let you educate yourself and let the people around you know what actual facts are. But on this note, ladies and gentlemen, we're headed out to a short break. I just feel like I missed my coffee early in the morning, so I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. You go get your chai or coffee, and we'll be back in less than a minute.
Well, we don't know whether you're going to get a cup of coffee or tea, because, well, that's debatable. Let's talk about it during the break as well, or whether the coffee cup is going to be quicker or the break's going to be quicker. I think that's something which we really need to kind of create a balance in between. But we have somebody very amazing over here in the studios with us. He's an aspiring youngster, and what he's doing is something which we will be talking about as well. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Stay tuned.
You are watching PTV World.
you want the link? Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Shiza Hashmi. With me, I have the super amazing and the very inspirational
Thank
Shazad
you very
Khan.
much.
All right, so one thing, earlier when you spoke about E-Game On Here, the show that you were doing yesterday, it was really interesting for me because while, yes, it is the era of the internet, I mean, the public sphere has now transformed into a cybersphere. We keep saying that. And that is the future. That is how people will earn. That is how people are studying, doing their jobs and whatnot. And I feel like for all of those people who don't yet know how to make full use of the internet and how to actually go about it in terms of employment, earning, and then you making the right use of it, we have the right person to tell you that.
Exactly, and to get started, Shiza, I think it's very important that we kind of emphasize how internet is enriching everyone's life.
Yes.
And, you know, may it be field of medicine, may it be banking, may it be schooling, may it be anything. I think everything has gone on to internet, and in days to come, we might have versions of ourselves in metaverse as well, where people will go shopping and you will receive physical items yourself as well. And I think this might be the very right time for us to invest in metaverse as well, but only if you know better about it. So
I know
imagine
better, but I don't have the money. How's that?
You know better, but you don't have the money. You're lying because you have the money. You've done so many shows in the past. Yeah, please make sure that you don't say that. Always be thankful to Allah Almighty for whatever.
Of course, alhamdulillah for everything. But yes, moving on.
I'm sorry for bringing that up, but yes, you did that, yeah. Honestly,
Shazad,
alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah for everything. Moving on.
You know, let me take it from here. So imagine that this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody these days is working on the internet and making sure to earn a lot of money. Imagine in the past, you know, when our parents were working, so, you know, they would get paid 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees, 70,000 rupees. A 16-year-old these days is actually earning $1 million on internet. And there's no harm in it. And everybody's enjoying. I think the parents are more happier as well that their sons and their daughters are on internet. It's wonderful. So imagine that this gentleman we have been joined by, he's got 29,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's doing a wonderful show. He's got a technology channel, tech channel. And what is he doing is something which we will be talking about. He makes a lot of money on the internet. This is that time where your friends will start to ask from you. Okay, and we're very lucky, ladies and gentlemen, with that we have been actually joined by Sayyid Wasi Ali, who happens to be a YouTuber. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm fine, how are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. He's a student of software engineering with a CGP of 3.57 and last semester of ComSats.
Smart choices.
They are foreign trees there, I want to say. But it's wonderful. How did you get started with YouTubing? Why did you do it in the first place? And why did you wanted all that money?
Well, I started my YouTube channel when I was in my second year or 12th grade.
Wow.
So at that time, making YouTube videos wasn't very common. So I wanted to make YouTube videos because I saw I was more of a technical person and people were having problems to solve their technical issues.
True.
There wasn't many people on the internet at that time to help. True. So that was my main motivation of making YouTube videos.
So, you know, taking you back in time, you know, when we talk about how you started in your second year as well. So that was the time when people were possibly looking for your how do we download Windows?
Yes,
how do we operate Windows? You know,
I
things
was
like
one of
that.
those
These were the issues people would write about as well. Was it like that?
Yes, most of my friends didn't knew about it, and overall, and I was more of a technical, and I had interest in these kind of things. So that's why I made these videos. And what made me different from others was that they didn't thought about the future. I knew that if I start now, I might grow in the future, which I have, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
But my friends, what they would do, they would just waste their extra time. Obviously, I played extra games as well, there's no doubt. I participated in co-curricular activities, but I also spent most of my time in YouTube videos as well. So that was the time when I started my YouTube videos.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I think you had the right kind of vision then, because it's now, mashallah, paying off as well. And you know why it works as well? Because I'll tell you. And it was so baffling for me to actually see, if we're talking about a Vogue, and Vogue is one of the biggest lifestyle / fashion channels, whatnot. So a Vogue video actually has lesser views as compared to a video that says how to clean your computer, or as opposed to a video that says, I mean, how to find a torrent, which is illegal, by the way. Don't do that. I'm sorry I said it.
And not just that.
And that's so smart of you.
You know, there's clickbaiting as well, and there are a lot of views on those videos as well. I mean, I'm sorry if I have to say the title. I'm going to say it out loud as well. बाप ने बच्चे के साथ क्या कर दिया? You know, and you know,
और
I think
किया क्या होता है? He buys him a phone, a gift.
And that's what it is. But people do that for views as well. So coming down to you, you know, you have a very strong niche where you're talking about technology only. I saw a couple of your videos where you were like, okay, how to download what an IBM machine and whatnot. and we want to share your video with our viewers as well. So as soon as it's ready, we will do that.
Okay.
So how do you make sure that you keep up with technology? Because technology is advancing every single day. There are new cell phones, there are new laptops, there are new hardwares. Every day there's something new coming out.
Yes. So mostly I subscribe to most of the major channels as well. From there I get updated of the latest videos, and then I subscribe to some blogs as well of the tech. And majorly I buy most of the technology that I made videos by myself.
Wonderful.
So I have to buy
So
them.
you invest yourself?
Yes.
And then what do you do with so many devices? Do you give them away? Do you have friends like me?
Mostly I use them, and the old things I just throw them away, and because
You throw them away. Next time you throw them, make sure that
Uh-huh.
there's
Throw
somewhere
it
nearby as
here.
well. All the technology, we're catching technology. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm
But Wase, people might sort of make farmaishein, what do we call it, requests. They might comment, please make a comparison video of this, or please review this.
Yes.
So for example, if I were to ask you, yeah, should I buy iPhone 13 or 12 Pro Max for
Yes.
that matter? So how do you go about it? Where do you get the iPhones from? How do you make the video? Tell me the whole process.
Well, mostly if I don't have the device, then I look towards my friends or my family members. In most cases, they are going to have those particular latest devices.
Okay.
So if I want to give anyone a comparison, an honest comparison, I would get those phones from my friends or family members. I would do some reviews and some testing by myself for 1 to 2 days. And once I made the actual result, then I would make an actual video, and I will also reply to that subscriber as well, that whether you should buy the 12 Pro or the 13 Pro.
Wow.
If I test it myself.
Wow.
So you're
very
literally
nice.
like a technology doctor on internet.
Henna?
Yeah. And it's wonderful, which is why we wanted to play your video as well.
Let's do it.
So ladies and gentlemen, let's take a good look at Wase's channel. Please go ahead. All right, I think
We'll get to that. I think I just have a few more questions, and then we can get to that as well. So now these are some of the most common searches that come up.
Yes.
Is this your way of thinking how to do the next video as well? Kya aap jate hain ki what was the latest search? What are people looking for?
Mostly looking at YouTube trends, because whenever you go to the trending page of YouTube, you're going to get a better idea of what is going on and what people are looking for. Like the iPad Air just came out yesterday, so most of the people are going to look for that. So if I want to make a video, then I should target that particular niche so that I get more views, and people are also searching for that particular thing.
Which makes me question you now. So you tell me, with the iPad Air, what is the difference between a MacBook and that? I mean, if for an editor or whatsoever, which
not for
one
us.
do we go for?
Like for an editor, I would say go for the MacBook.
Okay.
I actually want to buy the MacBook myself. It's really expensive, especially
But
in
it's
Pakistan.
perfect.
But
It's
yes.
everything.
For the iPad Air, you can do small things, but not editing, because it doesn't have that much powerful processor, etc.
Okay.
The MacBook is made for professionals.
But so they didn't even sort of make the processor over here in the iPad Air compared to the MacBook, because I was seeing comparisons or reviews which said that let's get rid of the desktop MacBook. You know?
No, the one which came yesterday, it now has the MacBook's chip in the
Right,
iPad. So
right.
now that is really powerful. It could do editing, but the new MacBooks coming, they are having multiple power chips.
I think Shiza just wants to buy the
MacBook.
Henna, because I can,
I
right?
think she just wants to buy the iPad, and she's just asking for it whether she should go for a
Validation.
MacBook or not, because she already has a MacBook.
I do.
No, you
My
don't.
husband does.
What have you been editing your pictures on?
I mean, I'm using his MacBook.
Okay, it's all right, but you do have a MacBook at
Yeah,
home.
of
Which is
course.
why now I want to ask you one more thing, because for now what I have judged is, or what I gotten to know is, that alhamdulillah you make sure that you're going to do very honest reviews
Yes.
and give honest feedbacks on devices so that people can benefit from it. But imagine, obviously there might be a lot of marketing agencies which will contact you and be like, hey sir, why don't you do a review for our
I did
this
it,
product? And then God forbid, if you do not find it up to the mark, would you still say good things about it? Because you're getting paid by them?
Many companies sponsored me, so I made different reviews product from America, from Indonesia, different countries.
Wow.
So the product that came from America, it was a gaming headset. I
Okay.
tested it, but the main fault was that its wire was short. So yes, they paid me, they gave me the headset, but still in the review video, I told the pros as well as the cons of that headset as well. And the company was like, okay.
So how do you wear it if the wire was short? How do you wear it? Do you
That was
just
the main
wear it
problem.
right next to the laptop?
Like I couldn't wear it with the laptop. I showed it with my
Oh.
phone. I showed it that the length was very small.
All right.
And the company said, okay, that's a valid point, and in the next products they will make sure of that fault.
Wow, that's wonderful, yeah.
Very nice. And mashallah, now that your channel is big and you get a lot of views because because your titles and the videos are such that every common man searches those things every day, right? Yeah, how to do this, how to do that. So then you must be getting a lot of ad placements as well.
Yes.
How do you place them? Because for a viewer, sometimes it gets very obvious कि यार ये इसने ad के लिए किया है.
Well, it's up to YouTube.
Can it
All we need to
happens?
do is to enable the advertisement button. Then it's up to YouTube on which videos they're going to display the ads and where not.
No, for example, like if an app or if a product reaches you, कि this ad you have to do in your video. So for example, there are some pages I follow for editing. Their entire video will be in editing, but after 5 to 7 minutes, the guy will be like, oh, by the way, I was trying this app. Do you want to check this app out? And then he'll go on to his
Yes.
video. Do you do that?
Yes, yes, sometimes.
Oh, sometimes.
Well, I try to do it at the very start or at the very end so that the viewer doesn't get disturbed, not in the middle of any process.
But do you think without ads or without such collaborations, it's not possible to run your own channel?
No, as YouTube is giving you money because you're making YouTube videos, so you're mainly not dependent on those sponsors. You can
Oh.
think of those sponsors as extra or bonus money.
Interesting.
Which is
interesting.
why, what makes me ask is that imagine, there are a lot of people and they have a lot of dedication, passion, and they kind of, the entire thing grows on to them and they
Yes.
just cannot live without it, and that eventually becomes a problem as well.
Yeah.
For you, what is more important? Is it the views which are more important, or is it the kind of reviews you're doing about technological products? And so far, what we have discussed is smartwatches, cell phones,
Yes.
and iPads or laptops as well. What are the other products which you review? And because the last video I watched of yours, I just couldn't understand what you were telling people. So for a layman to know about technology,
Yes.
how do you make sure that you're going to connect with them on their level?
So I make reviews as well as of different softwares, products, etc. So for a layman, first of all, I'm going to give them a little introduction of the product or any software that if I'm telling about, like the video that you saw was on IDM. So basically it's a download manager. If you're going to download multiple files from the internet, then it's going to manage all of these files.
Okay.
So like if I'm going to start that video, I'm going to tell about that first, then I'm going to go with the whole video. So at the start, an overview for the layman, and then I'm going to go.
That's wonderful. And since we've had such a longer discussion, why don't you share the name of your channel as well?
I was going to ask.
Wasay Tech Tips, WASAY Tech Tips.
Wasay Tech Tips. And what does your family say about that? You're YouTubing, your family, your friends.
Well, at the start, my father said that you're wasting your time, you should focus on studies.
And today he's with you over here.
Yeah, he helped me made my own studio in the house. So
Wow.
It's wonderful.
He's
And what
supporting
kind of support did you get from your family?
they are, at the start, not my very smart support. They were saying just you're wasting your time, you should focus studies, etc., etc. But now they are giving me more support. Like if I want to make YouTube videos at home, they are making sure that everyone is quiet and not very
so
loud.
important.
Yes, because if you're going to have voice or sound in your audio, then the viewer is going to get disturbed.
True.
Obviously.
And that's
But
that's something which you do not want for your viewers, right?
Yes.
Right. And I think we do have a video of yours now. It's about time we share it with the audiences out there, and then we come back to have some more
From Wasay
discussion.
Tech Tips. Let's go, let's take a look.
Here, and today in this video I'm going to tell you about my experience on how I got a band 7 in my first IELTS test with 10 days preparation. So let's begin the video. Hey, what's up YouTube, this is Wasay here, and today in this video I'm going to show you how you can install iOS 15 on your iPhone. So let's begin the video. Hey, what's up YouTube, this is Wasay here, and today we're going to unbox the Turtle Beach Recon 50p gaming headsets. So let's begin this unboxing video. So here is the box of the gaming headset. Here we got the brand Turtle Beach. The model is Recon 50p and it is a white gaming headphones. Hey, what's up YouTube, this is
So these, ladies and gentlemen, were the visuals from Wasay Tech Tips as well, where he's actually talking about the same headphone. He said the wire was a little shorter as well, and you still have them, right?
Yes.
Do you use them at times?
I just gave it to my sister when she's playing with the PlayStation because she can connect it with her controller.
Yeah, because the wire is short, so
short,
you're
yeah.
right next to the controller as well. But it's wonderful, yeah, to see such aspiring, budding people who want to kind of create a difference in their lives as well, and going to have a very positive impact on other people's
Yes.
life as well, where whatever they want to buy, they will log on to your channel first, see your reviews, and then go for it.
Yes.
But I really want to appreciate you for one thing, Vase, where the internet is available for everyone and the world is your oyster. You chose to do something positive on the internet,
Yes.
and that to help people. So congratulations on that, and we're really proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep growing, and next time you get an iPhone as a gadget, give it to me, okay?
And next time, you know, so what we can do is, so next time when you have more than 50,000 plus subscribers,
Inshallah.
you are invited on the show.
Yes.
And once you touch 100,000 subscribers, sky's the limit. You're once again invited on the show as well. Okay.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. So you're
Okay.
around 30,000 as of now.
Yes.
I have subscribed already.
Thank you.
Shiza, make sure that
Yeah,
you subscribe.
of
People
course.
out there, please make sure we need to support our future generations because they're doing a wonderful job.
Absolutely. So now towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you again tomorrow at the same time, 10 a.m. that is. But we're going to leave you with a small report that will make you think about something throughout the day. I hope in a positive way as well.
Exactly.
What is it about, Shazad?
It's about climate change, and we want to raise awareness. And you know, whenever you want to raise awareness about a certain subject, I think what we need to do is, the first thing is to start to talk about it.
Yes.
We have been talking about it, but not much have been done. But I think it's a shared responsibility, and everybody needs to contribute. So we're going to say goodbye to you for now, and tomorrow we'll see you early in the morning at 10 a.m. So please make sure that you watch that video very carefully as well. So Shizad, do you want to say something?
Yeah, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Let's take a look at this. Just waiting for the video to play.